Okay, you guys, good morning. So, this is my last week of class, but I'm technically out, and my break really doesn't start until April the 19th. So, I'm like I said, I'm gonna utilize this time to relax and rest until I go back to class in August. But anyways, I wanted to get on here to talk about how you ladies can protect yourselves from these men out here. Um, and I knew that this time and day was gonna be upon us where men were going to uh, have a hard time um, respecting the word no. You are not entitled to give a man your cell phone number. You're not entitled to date a man. You're not entitled to have sex with a man. You're not entitled to do anything with a man out here. And some of these men have convinced themselves that no is a challenge. No is not a challenge, man. When a woman tells you she's not interested in you, or she doesn't want to have sex with you, or she doesn't feel comfortable doing whatever you're trying to get her to do or coerce her to do, just understand that that's exactly what it means. And it's also an illegal context. Because if I tell you that I'm not going to have sex with you and you're still pressuring me to have sex with you, that can come off as SA or great, especially if it's acts of SA and great, especially if I'm telling you no and you're still pressuring me to do it. That's like a criminal charge, and women should start calling the police on you men, because that's what women should do. When a woman tells you no, no means no. If she tells you she's not interested in dating you and you're acting really aggressive and weird about it, yes, this woman has the right to protect herself. And what do I mean by protecting herself? Well, pepper spraying you in the face to get you to get away from her. Maybe pulling out her concealed weapon to get you away from her. And that's what women are going to have to start doing, because you men just think that you are entitled to women. You're not entitled to a woman. You're not entitled to anything with a woman. Women are not objects. Women are not your property, whether you're married to them or not. We are human beings who have feelings and emotions, and we want to be treated like such. So, since you men don't know how to act and you don't know how to treat women, well, then you don't get to have access to women. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. You don't know how to act and you don't know how to treat women. Well, then guess what? You don't get to have access to women. You want to act like an animal, you can get put down like one. You know, and I hate to even say that. I mean, we shouldn't even have to get to this point of having to go to means of using pepper spray and mace and tasers and pew pews on you men. I'm even telling the women to get online and order bear spray, which is very, very more potent than regular, you know, pepper spray. You men are literally out here acting like animals, and then you're wondering why women are not wanting to deal with you by dating you or getting married to you or etc. You act like an animal, you can get put down like one. Women don't owe you anything. Women don't owe you anything. And just because a woman tells you she's not interested in dating doesn't mean that she's hurt. There are some of us out here who like being single. We like being in our own space. We're not willing to give up our space to be with the man. Some of us are busy with things in our lives. We don't have time for a relationship. We're trying to build our lives up for ourselves and our children. So, not every time a woman who says she's not interested in dating is the result of being hurt or anything like that. There are just some of us out here who enjoy being single. We like being single. And I know that that may be hard for you men to understand, because used to being single. You can't be single. But you projecting your own insecurities and fears on women because you can't be in your own space, I think that's I think that's a signal for you to work on yourself. I think it's an indication that you have areas in your life where you need to improve. And a relationship shouldn't be the first thing you should be thinking about. You know, I if I know that I'm not ready to date, I'm going to tell you I'm not interested in dating. It has nothing to do with you. It could be simply because I'm working on myself or I'm improving things in my life where I don't want to bring a partner in my life while I'm doing this. But you men just cannot accept the word no. And it doesn't matter how many times a woman tells you no, you just think that this is the indication to keep chasing and chasing and chasing a woman. And then when this woman rejects you and she tells you she's not interested in you and you see what she has going on, the first thing that you want to say is, oh, you're wasting my time. Oh, you're bitter. Oh, you're just like these other women out here. There are women out here who are married, who are partnered, who just got out of really toxic, unhealthy relationships with men. And these women are not available for you men. Yes, I've said it. There are women who are married and partnered. There are women who just got out of really toxic, unhealthy relationships, or maybe the relationships were great and the partner was not the best match for them, and they chose to get out of the relationship. And they're not available. They're not available for you men. But yet, when women tell you that they're married, that they're partnered, that they just got out of a bad relationship, or they're just enjoying the single life, here you men go. You just can't stand to see women be single. You just can't stand to see women being happy. You just can't stand seeing a woman in a relationship with a man. Yeah, the amount of stories that I have heard from women who simply say, I went to the grocery store, I was wearing my wedding band, and men still approached me. And when I told them that I was married, these men didn't care. Whatever happened to people respecting people's marriages and unions? Like, if I tell you that I'm married or I'm partnered, stay away from me. You know, if I tell you that I'm not interested in a relationship at this time, stay away from me. I mean, it's very obvious that you men don't know when to back off and you don't know when to leave women alone. And women can sit here and tell you all day to your face they're not interested in you, and you still can't read the room. It has nothing to do with how you look, it has nothing to do with the amount of money you have. There are just some women out here who don't want relationships, and there's nothing you can do about it. But you men just have convinced yourself that you are entitled to what women have. You're not entitled to anything that women. You're not entitled to this woman's body. You're not entitled to her time. You're not entitled to her energy. You're not entitled to sex. You're not entitled to a relationship. You're not entitled to having a child with this woman. You're not entitled to this woman's home. You're not entitled to her car. And you're definitely not entitled to marriage. You're just not. You're not even entitled to a relationship. Women don't owe you men anything. And the quicker you men get that through your heads, the better things will be moving forward where women and you are at. Just because I'm talking to you and I'm being nice to you doesn't mean that I want you. And it also doesn't mean that I want to have sex with you. I can just be a decent human being and treat you with respect and decency without there being any attachments involved. You men just simply do not know how to respect women's boundaries. You also are entitled, and you think that the world owes you something. Women don't owe you anything. Yes, we brought many of you here, but that's it. And we've done our best in raising you men. But that's really about it. You're responsible for your own lives, your own actions, your own thoughts, your own path, your own everything. And if you so happily come across someone who's on the same path as you and wants the same things out of life like you, and you and that woman is equally yoked and you want to build a relationship together, great. But just understand nobody owes you anything. Like nobody owes anybody nothing. Relationships, getting married, having a family, having sex, these are all choices. There's no law that says that we have to be married, we have to have a family, we have to do X, Y, and Z. Unfortunately, society has convinced everybody that this is what we must do. And unfortunately, people are running with that societal expectation that the only way to be happy is to be married and have a family and so on and so on and so on. And we're learning that that's not working out for people. We're learning that forcing people to do things that they don't want to do doesn't end well. We're also learning that everybody has their own beliefs and own standards and morals and things that they want when it comes to life. And I'm learning not everybody's going to measure up to those things. Not everybody's going to be able to fit the bill or what you're looking for in a partner. And no, man, it's not because women have been hurt. We've all been hurt. We've all been hurt by you collectively. This is about where women are at now. Women can afford their own homes and cars and things like that. They really don't need you. And when you build a world and you allow women to be able to maneuver in that world and they begin to gain independence, then that woman is not going to need you. She's not going to have the desire to need you. You men created this world. You allowed women to be able to maneuver in this world. And you thought that women were going to always be at the bottom. And women are showing you that we don't need you and we can get to the top even without you. So at the end of the day, you men are going to have to prove why you need to be needed in a woman's life. You're going to have to prove why you're going to have to be wanted. And right now, you're not proving either. You're not proving the need and you're not proving the want. What you are proving is that we need to avoid the majority of you. And if you can't accept the word no and rejection, well, then you don't need to be out here in women's faces. Because I'm not going to coddle your feelings because you're having a bad day. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I shouldn't have to give you a fake number to get you away from me. I'm not going to block you. I'm going to simply tell you to get the hell out of my face and move the fuck on. That's it. And I simply tell women that. I simply tell men that, ladies. I straight out and I tell these men, get the hell out of my face. Goodbye. Get out of my face. You can't afford me. You can't afford my lifestyle. Get out of my face. And you should see how dumbfounded they look. Some of them even go to the means of saying, "Well, I want to treat you like a queen, and I want to do." I don't want to hear any of that. I've seen and heard enough with you, man. Like Akina has seen some things. I've experienced some things, and I'm not flattered by that anymore. You telling me all day what you want to do, you got to be able to show that, big boy. And a lot of you men can't show that. You can't show that. You can't prove that. Women sit down and they tell you every day what their needs are. And you men, no, 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 not that way. We're going to do it this way. And you wonder why your relationship doesn't work out because you're not actually listening to your partner. You're hearing your partner. You're not listening to your partner. See, you can sit down and come to my channel and hear me, but are you listening to what I'm saying? No. Because if you men were actually listening to women, you would actually do what you need to do to become a better person for your partner. I don't condone cheating. I don't condone it. But what I have learned is people who cheat either because they are a selfish person who has no empathy or sympathy for the other person, But a lot of times, people who are in relationships and they often cheat and they're not, they haven't cheated on their partner. They're not like a serious cheater, right? They often do it because their needs are not being met. Their needs are not being met. It's something that you're doing in this relationship that is not making your partner happy. And then instead of this person communicating with you about that unhappiness and their needs not getting met, they choose to cheat. The amount of men that I have met who have told me their wives are not taking care of them sexually, that's why they cheat. Sex is not a need. It's not. Ladies, to a lot of these men, it is a need. And once they can't get their needs met, they will go out and cheat. So that's why a lot of you have to just give in and have sex with these men to keep them at home, right? It's too much work dealing with you men. Like, why should I roll over and have sex with you to keep you from cheating? Maybe I don't feel like having sex with you, you know. Maybe you're just not pleasing me well enough to for that satisfaction. Have you ever considered that's why your wife isn't giving you sex? Yes, I just played devil's advocate. Yeah. Have you ever considered that maybe you don't have the bandwidth or girth to make your wife orgasm? Hey, I'm just saying, don't shoot the messenger, shoot the message, okay? Have you ever thought the reason why your wife isn't giving you any sex is because you're not satisfying her in bed? Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about the fact that maybe your wife is getting piped down by another man because you can't do it? Hey, I'm just saying, ladies, what if the reason why your husband is cheating is because you know you're not taking care of your hygiene properly, or maybe he suspects that you've been out here cheating and he refuses to give you any. Hey, I'm just saying. So I think people need to really, really sit down and really look at themselves before jumping into relationships, because relationships are a lot of work, and it's a lot of emotional work, and it's a lot of teamwork. And not everybody wants to sign up, men, to be in a relationship with you. I like being single. Okay. I like being able to do what I want to do when I feel like it, when I get ready to. Mhm. I don't have to answer to anyone other than my children who need me. I like being able to pack a bag, a luggage bag, make a trip, plan a trip, and go there without having to explain to a man what am I doing with his money and why am I going here and who am I leaving with and all this extra, 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 extra stuff. The when, where, what, why, and how. See, when you're single, you don't have to answer to anybody because you can do what you want to do when you feel like it. It's been that way for me for 15 years. Why would I give up my freedom and peace to have to go back to explaining to a man why, where, when, and how in my life? Like it's amazing when you can make your own money, ladies, and not have to ask a man for money, right? And oh, I need $100. Him, what do you need $100 for? You, oh, I need $100 for X, Y, and Z. Woo! Never had that problem. Never had that problem. Never had that problem. I never had that problem, ladies, because I have never ever, outside of my ex-husband, have ever asked a man for his money. Nope. If you men don't voluntarily give it to Akina, I'm never gonna ask you for it. Mm-mm. And I have one friend who voluntarily just sent me some money just because, and he put emphasis on this. This is a gift to you, and he zelled it to me. He zelled it to me. He didn't ask me for anything in return. He just gave me money. He says, "I just want to give you money because you're adorable and you're cute and you're my friend, and I just want to give you money." Yeah. And he sent it to me, and we're still friends to this day. And he's in New Zealand. He's in New Zealand, you guys. I have friends who just do that. They just give me money. They're not looking for nothing. They just give me money because I exist. That's it. So Akina will never ask you men for your money. Never. But some of you just think you're entitled to a woman. Oh, I took her to dinner. She's supposed to give me tax. Oh, she's not. Women don't owe you anything, man. Like you taking me to dinner, that doesn't mean we're gonna have sex. We just simply went to dinner. Well, you owe me six. No, I don't. You took me to dinner, and that's what I'm expecting you to do. That's it. You took me to dinner. When I asked you what was our plans going to be, you told me, "Oh, I just want to take you to dinner, get to know you, maybe grab a cup of coffee." That's exactly what we're going to do. Hmm. Nothing more, nothing less. So after we have dinner and after we have a cup of coffee or a cappuccino or whatever, you go home, I go home. That's it. That's literally it. You get in your car, you go home, I get in my car, I go home. We don't see each other until we make plans again. That's it. Well, I spent $60 on you. Okay, let me what's your Cash App name? So that I can refund you the $60. Yeah, I'm that type of woman. Have I ever done that before? Yes. But not based upon those criterias. I have gone out to dinner with a man. This was way back in the gap. And an emergency came up with one of my children, and I had to get home. So I had to rain check the entire date and refund him back because he actually took off from work to take me out to dinner. So that's why I did that. He actually took off to take me to dinner because of his work hours. And I told him that I don't do night dates, not for the first time. I prefer dates in the daytime, midday or whatever. And he took off, and I felt kind of bad because that came up. And, I just told him, you know what? It's on me next date. I refunded the guy back for the meal because we ordered and everything. And yeah, did we end up going on another date? Yeah, we did. But it took a while because I had that emergency situation going on with one of my kids who had taken sick. So, and I'm not talking about one of my kids who were medically, and put in the hospital sick. They were just sick. They had a bug or something, and I had to get home, and they were running the fever and da 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 da, whatever. You guys know the rest. But anyways, and they were quite young than what they are. I think it was with my son, and then he was asthmatic, so I had that emergency to get home. So we ended up months later, we ended up going out, and surprisingly, he said, "No, I'm going to take care of everything." right? And, he did. Even though I offered to pay for everything since the last mishap, he says, no, I'm going to take care of everything. Don't worry about it. Next time it's on you. We did eventually, continue on with more dates and he paid for them. Never had sex with the guy or anything. But I did learn that he was, going through a divorce and he wasn't quite divorced. So we had to kind of end things. Anyways, I learned that the guy was married still. He was still going through a divorce, which had not been finalized, and he actually just started it. So he, in some kind of way, he did tell me the truth, but I didn't know how far along he was into whatever he had going on. I really didn't have much expectations from the situation because I knew that he was still going through all of that, and I didn't want to get caught up in that. Anyways, it abruptly got cut short simply because he was wanting a little bit more than what I was expecting out of that. Meaning, he actually wanted a relationship, and I told him, no, can't date you with everything going on in your marriage. And maybe once you get through your divorce, and maybe we can make something work in the future. Well, um, that didn't go well. Um, I eventually just got tired of you know, being caught up in the situation with him and his wife and all their drama. So I ended things, and I felt like just Friend zoning him would have been the safer approach. Well, Akita, why did you even pursue this guy or get in this with him? At the time, I was open to friendship, meeting people, and I was really just trying to put myself back out there. But and then you guys have to understand, I was young at the time, and I didn't know that he had all that stuff like that going on in his life. It did get cut short, and I eventually moved on, and he did too, and I never heard or seen from him again. So I mean, that's the only time that I've had to kind of like do that with paying, refunding the date. In other situations, sometimes women have to do this when they know that the date isn't going to go well with you men, and we know that you're just like red flags all over, right? A woman will do that for safety reasons to get out of a situation with you. Meaning if she goes out to dinner with you and you're just showing all kind of red flags even on that date, for safety reasons, a woman will opt out. A woman will opt out, meaning she will pay for half of the date or all of the date. Thank you for your time and go shoot, and you'll never hear or see from that woman again. Um, I've never had that situation happen. Um, where I've had to do that with the man outside of the married man that I told you guys about. Because technically, you men are not single until you're like divorced. Even though you're separated, you're still legally married. Um, I've had to ghost men even on the phone. Like you're already showing me, the red flags even before we meet. Why would I meet you? So you know, and this is why when people do get out here and date, you really don't have any expectations out here. You keep everything very casually. And, when I was out here casually meeting men, it was very casually. Um, because I just wanted to see where you men were coming from, and many of you proved me right. So we're at a place now, men, where we're really tired of going through this with you guys. It's not working out. It's not working out. It's not working out because everybody has their expectations when it comes to a relationship and a partner. And those expectations that you have don't align with the women that you're meeting. You know, I think it's a lot of the Lulu thinking and fantasy thinking and unrealistic expectations and standards that you have. And not everybody's going to align with you. And this is why it's important to date the correct way. And the correct way is you start off as friends, you get to know a person, and then you allow things to build if you want things to build. The problem is you guys want to rush into this and you want to rush into that, and that's why it's not working out with you and women. Your approach is incorrect, how you talk to women is incorrect, how you view women is incorrect. That's why you're not getting access to women. Women no longer care about what's in your wallet or what's between your legs. We want to know where you're coming from mentally. We want to know what your character is looking like. I want to know, what do you do when you get mad? What do you do when you're happy? These are the things that I pay attention to when I'm talking to a man. How do you take care of business? Can you do an application? Can you create a resume? Can you change a light bulb? Can you fix a tire? That's what I pay attention to when I'm talking to you men. How are you talking to women? Are you texting women, hey, what's up, bro? Or hi, how are you doing? Yeah. Some of you men are not doing so great in those areas. Like your personality is, your character is, you have no critical thinking skills. You have no creativity. You have no social skills. You have no social life. You don't have a network of friends you can talk to for support and recognition. Like, if I were to ask you who are your friends so that I can do a reference check on you, you have no friends. You have no one who can vouch for you in who you are as a person. Like you have no credibility. Like these are things that women pay attention to. Notice I said women. I didn't say females, I said women. But yeah, I pay attention to your behavior, how you maneuver, how you talk to women, how you interact with people. Like some of you guys are like really failing bad. You can't even articulate a date. No. You can't plan it, you can't create it, you can't do anything. When you meet a woman, it should be hi, how are you doing? I'm very interested in getting to know you. What are your likes? What are your dislikes? What are your hobbies? What do you do for fun? What are your goals? What are you working on in life? This is how you connect with women. Not, oh, let's just get into bed and have sex. That's not getting to know a woman. Why would a woman give you access to her body when you don't even know where her mindset is at? Yeah, and you just think you're old access to this. Like this woman can have STDs, she can be crazy in the head. You men don't care. You just stick yourself in anything that has a hole, right? Anything that looks good superficially. And just think, oh, I'm old her. No, you're not. You're not old this woman. What you want and what you need are two different things. Like having access to a woman is not like a toy you can play around with. And you men have honestly been toying with women. So now you're Pikachu face surprised that women are opting out. I'm not. I'm just glad women are finally fucking waking up and realizing that the majority of you are just not like the it. And I don't want to call you men trash, but like for real, like you guys are not the it. Like you're not the it. You're not the prize, men. Women are. And without women, you don't get babies, you don't get wives, you don't get sex, you don't get shit. You don't get nothing. You literally get nothing if you keep mistreating the women that keep bringing you here. Like you don't bring life here, men. Women do. And without women, you cease to exist. Without women, the birth rate goes bye bye. Don't you get it? No, you men don't get it. Because you're sitting online talking about beating women up who won't date you. Like for real? You're sitting online making projection towards women who won't have sex with you. Like, sir, I don't know you. If I'm out in the grocery store getting groceries, I'm not obligated to talk to you. You want to know who I'm obligated to talk to? I'm obligated to talk to the cashier who's going to be ringing up my stuff. I'm obligated to talk to the bag guy who's bagging up my groceries to put in the cart. I'm obligated to talk to the bag guy who's going to be taking my groceries to the car that I have to tip. Like I'm not obligated unless you're paying for my groceries. I'm not obligated to talk to you. I can see people in the grocery store that I know, and I purposely avoid aisles so that I don't have to talk to those people. Because there are some days I don't feel like talking to my family. There are some days I don't feel like talking to my neighbors. There are days I don't feel like talking to people when I'm going out. I could be not feeling well, and all I have is a little energy to go in the grocery store, get what I got to get, and come out of there. I don't have time to be talking. I don't want to talk in the grocery aisle. I don't want to talk where I have ice cream sitting in my grocery cart melting, and you're trying to have a conversation with me, and I'm telling you I'm not interested. I don't feel like going through that. So you want to know what Akina did? Akina started doing online shopping, where the only person that I have to talk to is the person bringing my groceries to my house, because I really don't feel like socializing with a lot of people. And the way how the world is going, I really don't want to talk to a lot of people because some of y'all are like really crazy out here. So why do you think women owe you something? Reminds me of Dr. Dexter, the older black guy who was so mad that this young, beautiful black woman wouldn't speak to him in the grocery store. That young, beautiful black girl who could have had a boyfriend or a husband waiting out in the parking lot or at home. Dr. Dexter just got on the internet and rah, 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 rah. Women don't owe you nothing, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You think we do? We don't. We don't. We don't owe you anything. And I know that is something you can't grasp. Well, this is my only chance to talk to women. No, it's not. You can like join a hobby, get involved in a social club to meet people. You can do that. I mean, it's literally free. Like when I want to go and meet people of the same like-mindedness like me, I join hobbies where I know that those people are going to be at, and I interact with those types of people, right? That's what you do. You put yourself where the social circles are at to meet people. You don't just go harassing women at grocery stores or gas stations or these really awkward places to meet women. Like we don't do that, okay? And we're coming to a place right now where women are feeling unsafe with being approached like that. Like don't approach me while I'm pumping gas in my car. I'm gonna think you're a thug coming to like rob me. So what do I do when I go to the gas station, ladies? Well, I pay for my gas at the pump because I don't go in the gas station to pay for it, right? And I put the allotment of gas that I'm paying for. I put the hose and everything in my gas tank, and when I know that my gas is pumping, I sit in my car with my doors locked. And when I realize that the pump has stopped, I get out and I close my tank and put the hose back on the thing. I don't, and that's just to, because it's the times that we're living in, we just cannot afford to keep dealing with this harassment from men. What do I do when I have grocery shopping to do and something's not online? I do curbside pickup. Yeah, I do curbside pickup. When the people come out to bring my groceries to put it in my car, I tell them where to put it and I drive off, and that's it. That's what I do, ladies. We're human beings. We're all supposed to socialize, but that's not working out. People can't even drive in peace unless there's road rage. I've seen 6 videos on TikTok yesterday of people losing their minds even in traffic. No, thank you. Even when I'm at even and this is something that I have to make a daily note of. When I'm driving and I am in traffic and I get to a traffic light, I used to just not have my doors locked. Now I have to lock my doors. Why do you do that, Akina? Because the times that we live in, people are crazy. People are crazy. Somebody can just walk up to your car, get in your car, hold you at pew pew point, and this is why you keep your doors locked. Parents who have kids and you love leaving your kids in the car, stop doing that. This is what happened to that little boy that they had that Amber Alert on here in Baton Rouge. Mom decides to walk into the gas station, probably to pay for gas or get something out of there. Left her toddler in the truck while the car was running. Some idiot decided to jump into the car. The car was open, unlocked, and drove off. This happened in not a such great area in Baton Rouge. Because if you're from Baton Rouge, you know Airline Highway is not a good place to be leaving your car running, especially with kids in there. And I bet you she learned her lesson. When I go into the grocery store and my kids are with me, I don't care if I'm going to go get a piece of bubble gum. My kids are coming with me. They're walking in front of me. I'm walking behind them. And with my kids, 9 times out of 10, I'm not just going in there to get no damn piece of bubble gum. I have to end up actually coming out with a basket full of something, especially with my kids. Because they get in there, they see something that they like, they're going to throw it in the cart. Or they're going to run through the aisles to get what they want. And that's another thing I've stopped my children from doing. Like, we're going to all walk together throughout the store, hand by hand. You're not to be running off to go here and there. If you got to use the restroom, you can do that at home before we leave. And even anywhere we go, I tell my children this every time because I have them on a strict schedule there. Don't put your hands on nothing that you can't afford and pay for. And 9 times out of 10, I go in the store, I see something that we need, it's on sale, I'm grabbing it. That's me. Even though I make up in my mind, I'm only going to go get this, 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 and that, it never happens. And yet you men are just running around in society thinking that the world is safe. It's not safe for women and children because you have made it unsafe for women and children. You've made it unsafe. You created this atmosphere where women don't feel safe here, men, by your behavior. And a woman can be pregnant, a child in the cart, and married, and she tells you she's married and pregnant and has a child and a husband. I don't care. Your husband ain't gonna mind. I mind. She minds. Other women like this mind. We tell you we're not available. Move on. That's not an invitation to get a woman's number or any of this extra shit. Well, your husband ain't gonna mind. He ain't got to know. Well, I'm gonna know and I mind. How about that? Well, if your husband loved you so much, why he ain't in the store with you? So, ladies, what you should start doing, start bringing your husbands with you to the grocery store. Demand that they get up and go with you to the grocery stores, especially if you're married or partner. And that's going to stop these men from saying that. And if he's the type of man who sits up in the car while he sends you in the grocery store, demand that he stops doing that. And if he has a problem with that, with going in the grocery store with you, leave his ass at home and make him pay for a subscription where you can have your groceries delivered to you. Why, Akina? Why would I make my husband do that? Well, if he won't go in the grocery store with you to protect you in the grocery store from these types of predatorial, incestual, um, grapey, no kind of respecting ass, half-ass males, then he should at least pay for your subscriptions to have your groceries delivered to you. I purposely pay $20 for online delivery services. I mean, by the time you put gas in the car, and you go and get groceries, you've already burnt out $20 worth of gas or so. So I mean, yes, I do tip every driver that comes here and delivers groceries to my house. So what I would normally put in my tank to go to the grocery store or anything, I reimburse that to my drivers who come out and they deliver things to my house. So this is where we're at, ladies. You guys are gonna have to start protecting yourselves out here because it's very clear that these men are not going to protect you, and they have told you that they're not going to protect you. It is unfortunate that we're here where you can't even go outside and take a walk or even drink a cup of coffee. I used to be able to go to the park. They don't know how to act. And you giving them a fake number and you pretending to be married, we shouldn't have to be doing all that, ladies. I should be able to tell a man no and he should go away. You ladies need to be safe out here because men don't care about your sexuality. They don't care that you're gay. They don't care if you're married. They don't care about anything. They just think that they are owed access to women. And men, if you guys don't stop your behavior, you're going to be 6 feet under somewhere. You're acting like animals. So bear spray, I know, is very, very potent. You can run away to safety. And if all fails, lady, you do have your pew pew. If you have your concealed carry and you have your permit, you can carry. I carry every time I leave my house. I do not give men the benefit of the doubt to ever think that my guards are down. And men will. Men. You're just playing pretend until you get what you want, and then the mask comes off. And then we see you for who you really are, and we don't like that, and we get away. And then when you realize that we can see you for who you are, you get upset. And you go with the love bombing and the manipulation and gaslighting or playing victim. And I don't have to worry about going out in public to be dealing with the stores and attitudes and strange men approaching me and people wanting to touch me. And that's another thing that people need to stop doing. Like, stop touching people. Don't come up to me and hug me or put your hands on me. I don't know you. That should be listed as a criminal charge. Stop touching people. And that's one of my things. I don't allow men to touch me. Do not put your hands on me. You can't keep your hands off of her. That is a violation. Ladies, when these men start putting their hands on you, report their ass in for SA. You didn't give him consent to touch you, report him in. You're having intimacy with this man and he decides to take the rubber off, call the police. Keep doing it because you've given them permission to do it. Do you think men just walk up to me and hug on me and touch on me? Nope. I tell them in a heartbeat, get the fuck away from me and back up. Even when I think they're getting too close. I can't hug you. I can't give you a little kiss on. No, I didn't give you permission to do so. Get out of my face. Too many of you men love putting your mouth. and all that. You don't know what this woman has. We don't know what you got. And with all these STDs running around, you ought to not be putting your mouth on no woman out here. You got big bumps all around your mouth. I don't know what that is, but I'm not going to allow you to be putting your nasty mouth on me. And I don't know where your mouth and your lips have been. I'm not your wife. You don't have no business putting your hands on me. You want to kiss on somebody? Come back to that. Stop allowing these men to touch you. And when they do touch you without your consent, slap their asses back and call the police on them. Start recording these creeps so that we can know how they look on 4K so that we can put this awareness out. I'll straight out and slap men, you guys. And told him, get the hell out of my house, get away from my yard, get the fuck out of my driveway. How quickly did he get away? Because he made this a habit. Every time he would see me, he would want to put his hands on me. Got to touch and feel and squeeze. Nope. Or you can just go to the dollar store and get you one of those rulers that are those plastic rulers. They haven't been taught that they don't put their hands on women. They haven't been taught by their parents, their mommy dearest and daddy, that we don't put our hands on women that we can't afford. And if you men can't afford women that you're approaching, then keep your hands off of them. Stick to the women that you can afford and stay away from the women you can't. Like my grandmother would say, you men need to start doing window shopping. You want to know how to start calling the police on you if you can't stop. And ladies, you should start calling the police on men. Start calling the police on them. They won't keep their hands to themselves. They're harassing and nagging you and stalking you and all this stuff here. Call the police on them. Call the popo on them. Because if you were to get out here and touch on men the way that, call the popo on them. Call the popo. Even during intimacy, you give this man permission to have whoopee with you and he can't keep the condom on and he takes it off, call the popo on him. You want men to be scared of you and intimidated by you, but not to the point where they're on edge. Look face. So men know not to come on to me like that. They know that Akina is one crazy bitch we're not going to cross lines with. When men approach me, hey, how you doing, Akina? They know how far to go. They treat me with respect. Because I let men know that good day and be safe out here, ladies. Get prepared.